what's your approach?
So I have to say that standing here in the shadow of a brachiosaur, diplodocus, kentosaur, the 8-year-old boy in me is squealing with delight. I've been doing foresight work for the past 20 years or so. And to put it simply, my job is to look at the big picture, to get away from the perspectives of quarterly results and short horizon thinking, to break away from conventional points of view by stepping way back. So I'm going to do a little bit of that tonight. Now, these days, much of my work focuses on climate disruption and topics like geoengineering, climate engineering. But here's a little secret. When we think in planetary terms, that kind of big picture, stepping way back terms, we realize that our actions don't matter, at least not in the long run. The Earth, as a planet, as a global ecosystem, will, over time, be okay, be just fine. After all, it's dealt with far worse than us. Environmental scientists may refer to this as the sixth extinction, but in many ways, human civilization is still a comparative amateur when it comes to wiping out the Earth species. You know, there's a past extinction event called the Great Dying, responsible for killing off probably 90% of all the species on the Earth at that time. And by the way, that's not the asteroid that wiped out these guys. Arguably, we're nowhere near as dangerous to nature as nature is itself. But here's the thing. Even after the Great Dying, life came back and, over time, flourished. Every extinction event has eventually become the catalyst for a new surge of life. Given time, evolution works. Environmental niches get filled. Species emerge and change to take full advantage of new planetary conditions. The animals and plants that we worry will disappear as the result of human carelessness and ignorance are really, in evolutionary terms, only temporary residents of the world, ephemeral, just like we are. The image we have in our heads of what the global environment looks like is just that, an image, a static snapshot of a dynamic system. This realization that the Earth will abide no matter our mistakes may seem like it's supposed to be liberating, but it's actually quite sobering. Because what this knowledge tells us isn't that we're free to do whatever we want, but that the brutal strength of our fears about what our human activity is doing to our world comes from its effect on us. The Earth may be fine, but the fragile webs connecting civilization to the planet's ecosystems won't. Now, we don't need to worry about driving the bees to extinction because the Earth will somehow be harmed. Given time, evolution will fill that niche. We need to worry about the bees because without them, our ability to feed ourselves will be eviscerated. Any anxiety we have about the creation of ocean dead zones or the collapse of fisheries is really about what these conditions will do to humanity, to the ability of 7+ billion people to survive. And the dangers from global temperatures rising by 5 or more degrees in the course of just a century, an increase so fast in geologic terms that it seems like humanity is somehow the warming equivalent of an asteroid. These dangers will simply make it impossible for human civilization to continue along its current path. So, does that mean civilization is going to collapse? Probably not. Humans are reasonably smart. As a species, we've survived massive natural environmental disruption before, and we did so with less knowledge and fewer tools than we have today. But unfortunately, that's not the whole story. When writer William Gibson said that the future is here, it's just not evenly distributed, he wasn't just talking about technology. Imbalances in resources, in power, in luck, all mean that a majority of the world's population already lives on the precarious edge of catastrophe. Now, from my big picture futurist point of view, it's easy to say that we'll adapt. But for far too many of us, that process of forced adaptation will be tragic and painful and deadly. Saying that the Earth will be fine isn't an attempt to absolve ourselves of responsibility, the responsibility for the harm that we've done to the planet. Rather, it's a blunt acknowledgement that the concerns we have about the world are ultimately, and I think appropriately, selfish. The health of the environment here in this moment of the Anthropocene is directly connected to the health of human civilization. We're not separate from nature. We're very much a part of it. In every sense that matters, the well-being of the Earth is thoroughly, intimately interwoven with our future. In other words, when we harm the planet today, we're really harming ourselves over the long tomorrow.
Thank you. René Røsbø, you're now